Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well. I feel like I haven't been on live or online forever, so it's good to be back. It's good to see you. I think I tagged Rebecca, I hope I did, so you can see it because you asked this question. And I wanted to go live because it was a really good question about non-attachment. And I hope I'm paraphrasing properly, but the question was basically like, what does non-attachment mean? That sounds really boring. Like, I want to have like the enjoyment of life, you know what I mean? And kind of a non-attached outlook, like what does that actually mean? Because I know this isn't what it means, but it almost feels like if you aren't attached to something, then you don't have those, like the joy, like all those experiences of life, the ups and downs of life. So I wanted to speak to that because I've had very similar like thoughts about these kinds of things, especially whenever it comes to, hi Ray, how are you? It's good to see you. I've had a lot of really similar thoughts to these kinds of things, especially when I start getting into mindfulness and Zen Buddhism and all this kind of stuff. And I want to say I'm not like a monk. I'm not even technically a Buddhist or anything like that. And these are the traditions which I'm pulling from whenever we talk about non-attachment. So I'm not giving you like an official answer based on that philosophy or claiming to be an expert in that philosophy. I'm telling you how my personal definition of non-attachment is, how I teach it, and how it helps me in my life, okay? So whenever it comes to attachment, we're usually attached to things rooted in a sense of fear and a sense of lack, right? We're usually attached to something. When we're attached to it, we're attached to the idea of what it can bring us. And we kind of like confuse that attachment of the idea of what it can bring us with that actual thing, right? Have you ever been in a relationship with someone and you thought that that is the only thing that could bring you happiness, and then it ended and you found happiness again, right? So you might have been attached to the idea of that relationship. You could find the idea and the feeling that that relationship gave you elsewhere, whether it's on your own and your own happiness, a new relationship, what have you. It's kind of similar with non-attachment to everything, because a lot of the attachments that we've built are actually built on things based on fear and lack and also really limiting beliefs. So if we're super attached to an outcome per se, and it has to happen a certain way, we might be closing the door on something way bigger than what we have like right in front of us that might be coming, because we're so attached to making it look this way. Right? Now, I'm not saying you can't enjoy things. As a matter of fact, I think that the point is to enjoy whatever comes your way in the moment and just experience it without judgment. But at the same time, like, I'm not saying you have to be like constantly non-attached to anything. I think it's okay to be a human. Like, we're here to have a human experience too, right? But for me, the attachment piece, it caused these really, really big highs and lows of negative and positive emotions. And I use those words really loosely because I don't really think anything's quote unquote negative or positive. I think that kind of goes against the grain of what mindfulness practice teaches us. But at the same time, I was suffering a lot because I was so attached to so many things and so many ideas of what I needed in my life and so many ideas of what I need to make happen that it was causing a whole lot of suffering to myself, for myself. So when I finally started letting go of the attachment that I thought that I had to certain things, certain ideas, certain ways of being, that's when I was finally able to be like, kind of like breathe and kind of like allow what was happening in the present moment to be something that I enjoy. Right now, I have a baby, right? And she's growing up so incredibly fast. And I have a whole bunch of other stuff that I want to do with my business and with my life and everything like that. But if I focus so much on what I have planned for the future, I'm not enjoying the now. And I just blink my eyes and she's 6 months old, right? So if I become so attached to like making this thing happen to my business right now, I could be missing something else in my life. Like in my example, my baby growing up. And it could be the same thing for anything that we become attached to if it's not in the present moment. The other thing about attachment from like a higher level spiritual perspective, and the way that I understand it and the way it's been channeled to me from my guides, is attachment actually causes karma. And karma is not good or bad. I'm not saying punishment or anything like that. But that attachment to different people, places, and things is part of the reason that we do keep reincarnating here and learning the same lesson over and over again. So in order to let go of our attachment, we have to kind of like align with our soul, for one, because remember, attachment always happens on an ego level. Our soul knows at all times that all things are okay because we see the higher perspective and we just can enjoy the experience. But also it kind of can put us in these karmic loops because we want to, that desire that we experience like makes us want to come back and keep doing the same thing over and over again. It makes us want to resolve some lessons. And that's part of the reason why we can release some karma when we release our attachment to certain things and people, because we release the lesson and the desire to fulfill it. And whenever we do that, we can experience whatever we want. That brings us back to the present moment, that point of co-creation in the universe. So that's why it's useful for me. Now, that being said, we are here to be a human and have a human experience. It's okay to like want things. It's okay to like desire things. It's okay to even have an idea of them. It's just kind of like detaching a little bit from how it looks, detaching a little bit from so much control. It's usually a control issue whenever we want to stay really attached to some things. And I'm sorry, it's so blustery here. Was not expecting this to happen, but oh well. It's just gonna be a blustery day here. But it's something that for me has, whenever I actually do focus on non-attachment, it has not robbed me of any joy in life, and it has not made life even more boring. In a way, I experience everything that I'm going through a whole lot more deeply in the moment. And I do still experience joy, but I've ended a lot of my suffering. Not that the goal of ending suffering is necessarily it either, because suffering is also a part of life, but I suffer a whole lot less because I'm not putting suffering upon myself because I'm so attached to outcomes or my beliefs or anything that I formed in wounding, because most of what our ego forms attachment to is from wounding or trauma or conditioning, what the rest of the world wants us to do. So I hope that makes sense. It's so good to see you guys again. Let me know in the comments if you got to watch this, if you watched the replay, and if you any other questions about it, please let me know. And if you have anything else you want me to talk about, let me know, because I'm going to start trying to go live more often again, as I'm starting to kind of get back into my business and moving out of mommy mode into getting stuff done, and also just being of service to you guys. So I love you very much. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.